thanks. Us and I really happy to find time to speak to you guys about music and a lot of other general things. And we can start by maybe you guys just telling us about the group, about the music, about yourselves, how this started. Anyhow, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Gaurav and she's Bidisha.
Yeah,
We started Asanda in 2019, just before the pandemic. I mean, we started working on music together.
great,
And then in 2021, we released our first EP, that was Loveless.
nice.
And since then, we did a few shows, few online shows because everything was shut down during pandemic.
Yeah,
And then we kind of stopped doing us and I music together. We got busy with other things
right.
after that EP, and then we moved from Bangalore to Europe. So we are in Germany right now. But
Oh,
when we started the project, we were in Bangalore together.
all right. And
And
yeah, go
mhm.
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
And then after moving here, it just took over. The life took over, and it even like we couldn't get back to us and I. And
Yeah.
then we finally released one single now, which is called Crushed, in April. And yeah, we're very happy to be back. We had a lot of music written down already, but we never
Yeah.
got around to finishing it in form of a final song.
Mhm.
So we're very happy. We have some new music also coming, but it'll be a single at a time, or we haven't decided the strategy yet. But
Sure. Awesome. And how would you describe the kind of music that y'all make? Because I think everyone, like I feel it's electro pop, electro rock. It has synthesizers. It has a lot going on. It almost feels like it can't be bracketed into a particular style. But what do you feel about the music that you guys make?
Yeah, so our music is very much, influenced by the 80s synth wave and synth pop.
Right.
Uh, we uh, we actually started writing our songs in an acoustic guitar.
Right.
The first couple of songs I had written in an acoustic guitar, with no idea that we'll be, starting Asanai or we'll have a project
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
But Gaurav comes with a lot of good sensibilities about synth pop
Hmm.
and synth wave. So he just transformed that music that I had written in an acoustic guitar into a very 80s kind of, with a very 80s feel.
Right.
And I really happened to like it. It was a completely different perspective, and I never imagined that the song will be like that. And
Yeah.
we actually started writing songs like these, and I kind of like vibed with what he was producing.
Hmm.
So it has now been bracketed, like we like to bracket ourselves in the zone of synth pop, dream pop, having influences of the shades of Chromatics, shades of a beach house. Yeah.
I haven't heard both, but yeah, I mean, sure. That's one of the things that I like about talking to people about music, especially people who make music and people who listen to music. There's so many things that either you learn or you figure out, just like the artists that you mentioned. I'll probably, Google them after. But I think the next thing would be, to find out how the dynamics is because you mentioned, you wrote the song on an acoustic and, Gaurav happens to use his own sensibilities. So is there like a production and a writing kind of angle or is it, both of y'all sit and evolve this thing together? Because the
Mhm.
reason I ask is because of the people I've spoken to in the past, everyone has extreme diverse ways of either
Yeah.
constructing the
yeah.
music first and then writing the lyrics, or there's someone
Mhm.
else who writes the lyrics first and then the music comes, and then there's this other category of it just happening, building all together. How does it
Mhm.
work in, for y'all specifically?
Um, I would say that many a times, a few songs have started from Bidisha writing it on acoustic guitar, and then I've took over them
Mm.
and try to transform them and put it in the computer in a way that I would imagine the song to be. Uh, but many a times I have also written music with no intention,
Right.
and then she likes that music and she sings or writes some lyrics over it and he
Yeah.
sings.
Yeah.
But after a first few songs, I was very clear that what direction we wanted to be in. So we talked about it, and we wanted to be in this electronic influenced dream pop kind
Yeah.
of sound.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I think all the lyrics of all the songs that we have done so far is are written by Bidisha,
Right.
and the production side of things is more toward on me,
Yeah.
and the singing, writing, and sometimes writing songs as well. She
Yeah.
starts with a simple song and then it goes somewhere else.
Yeah. So, for example, Crushed was what Gaurav had written first,
Hmm.
and then he made me hear the piece, and I was like, wow, this I really like this, and it gives me a very like future pop, something like that. And I kind of wrote on those lines, and I have a very very kind of the music, the song actually has a little bit of a you know um, sci-fi fantasy kind of I wouldn't say sci-fi, but more fantasy kind of feel in it, in the lyrics. And yeah, that was one song that came first when he produced it. He made the music, and then I came up with my lyrics and melody.
Yeah.
But there was also other songs, like I mentioned earlier, where I had written first and then he followed. So we try to make it as organic as possible.
Right.
It's not like we have to. We don't want to. We want to be organic. We don't want to be like, okay, whatever is coming naturally. So
Yeah.
if I write something and if he likes it, there are times that we don't like each other's music as well, what we have made, and we're like, no, this is not for us, and I know.
I think
So
that was gonna be my next question in terms of like, I mean, not exactly conflict, but like it's never an easy way to tell someone that a certain melody
Yeah,
or an idea is not working. And this generally happens when you have to work with someone else. I think like if you're
yeah,
working on your own, then you can still force yourself to like it. But especially if when people know clearly what they're doing, someone's producing, and you could sometimes write a song and the person producing it may not like it. uh
yeah,
and so like how do you all I mean, I know it's a tricky question, and I don't think there's like a clear
yeah,
answer to that, but is that something that is important, or is a very critical thing, or uh how do you all kind of like look at it? Is it fine to tell the other person like, hey, I'm not liking it, or maybe you then force yourself to like it a little bit more, because at the end of the day it is something that is fluid, like music or art in general is, I don't think you can
yeah.
just say if it's good or bad.
hmm
That's something you'll
Yeah, so I'll say my perspective. It might be different from hers.
yeah.
From my point of view, if I do something and I feel very strongly about it,
Hmm.
and then she comes and says, "No, I don't like this so much," I
Yeah.
would give it a thought. But then, if I feel really strong about that piece,
Yeah.
I would try to convince her about it. And I think we have enough self-respect for each other, like mutually, that if either of us feels strongly about one thing,
hmm
then the other one will
yeah,
go with
Yeah.
that instinct.
Okay.
So, for example, if she writes a lyric line or lyrics and I don't like one of the lines that she has written, I
Hmm.
would give my feedback, but I would not be very harsh that no, I want this to be changed,
Yeah.
because writing lyrics and uh, it's her like it's her, she for this song she started to write the lyrics, so I would respect her space within that song,
Yeah.
and then if she feels very strongly about it, I would go with it.
Yeah.
hmm
So it's also the other way around. So, for example, in one of the first songs that we wrote, Fragile,
Hmm.
I had a small guitar solo in it, like 10 seconds guitar solo,
Yeah.
and I was very convinced that the song should have this solo.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth, and she was not on board with it.
Yeah.
But then eventually, the final song does not have the guitar solo. So I went. In that case, I went with her instinct that okay, maybe you're right. Maybe you don't need this solo here.
Yeah. No,
So
I think that's fair. I mean, and the idea was to just get a peek into what the process.
yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything wrong with either thing. But
Yeah.
you wanted to say something as well, Bidisha, or it's more or less.
Uh, yeah, I mean it's more or less the same, but that's the thing. Like, so us and I, the name also comes from that. It reflects like the visions that we have, that us have together,
Hmm.
and individually what I also have
Yeah.
to portray in the music. So we have this very good boundary that we respect for each other. Like, I know that there are some things that I don't have the expertise in to kind of pitch in and say, hey, this is, you should make it this way. But sometimes I will not be able to come up with an alternative and tell him, you know what, you should do it the other way. And what is the other way, I probably might not know, because I'm not so good at figuring out how to produce music on the synth, or the production part of it is not my forte.
Hmm.
So at that time, I would like, probably, like he said, he likes to defend his part, why he did it. Then I try to understand, and then if it makes sense to me, and if it if I listen to it again, we try not to do it like, are we just getting used to the sound and that is why we like it. We try not to go on that line.
Hmm.
We definitely have our criticisms for each other, and we take it very yeah, I mean, mostly positively. There are sometimes we might have conflicts,
Yeah.
but that's natural. But it's very respectful. So that's why we don't feel very hindered at, like, somebody is coming and really putting me down for what I've written. Sometimes that might happen in some duos or some groups. That I mean, thankfully, fingers crossed, has not happened with us, and I don't think will happen in the future as well, because we do understand where we both stand and what is our forte. So yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Mm.
Sounds good. Next would be just out of curiosity. I'm assuming that you guys are not trained musicians in a way that, you've either gone to like music school or, professionally learned something. But what has that been like? Is it something that you'll do like a lot of, do it yourself way? Because I've seen videos where there is a music video where it seems like, you guys have kind of taken over the entire process. So shooting yourself, maybe recording, mixing, mastering, even acting, or stuff like that. So is that how you go about your process? Because a lot of independent musicians and people that I've come across or spoken to, there's a lot of effort that goes on behind the scenes in terms of putting your music out there. And even musicians, even though you're singing and you're playing, but then you're also figuring out so many other things of mixing and
Yeah.
mastering, and all of that.
Mhm.
So is that a similar vibe, or you guys do come from a background where you have all of this information that you have either learned and uh, been educated in?
Mhm. Right.
Okay. No, I did not take any musical education of any form.
Right.
So most of it is self-learned.
Yeah.
I do what I have found out or discovered over the years, and it's all my instincts. I let my instincts guide me in most cases.
So this
And for us, and I,
sorry, this
sorry,
is sorry to trouble bother you, but this is synth playing in general, or like guitar, and what kind of instrument
guitar,
do you also play?
whatever I have done, guitar and synth as well. The first EP I mixed myself,
Yeah.
but I mean, before I mixed the EP, I was trying to learn mixing on my own. So for a year, I was during the pandemic, I was trying to mix on my own, and that's how I ended up mixing the first EP. But I got it mastered from someone else. Was I, I learned mixing and not mastering, so I didn't want to do both together. But for Crushed, I decided to find someone else to mix because it gets just overwhelming when we are doing everything
For
together.
sure. Yeah.
So
And so how was that experience? Because you've kind of had both of it. That is like firstly mixing your own music maybe in the earlier thing, and then now outsourcing that to maybe a professional? Like what's your opinion and differences in both, you know?
I think when you work with someone, the most important thing is to convey your vision of the song to them. And when I sent over the song, I sent a few references, and the first mix that I got back,
Yeah,
I was not very happy with it because it was not in the direction that I wanted to be in.
yeah,
And you have to remember that it is, since it is our song and our vision, so we have to guide someone towards that vision.
yeah,
And of course, their feedback is also necessary. So,
yeah.
I mean, we take feedback, but ultimately the vision is ours. So that's an important consideration, to be as clear as you can
Hmm.
explaining your vision to other person. When I was mixing it myself, uh, I think it was, I already knew what the songs should sound like,
Yeah,
so it was easier to get there. But I
yeah.
think every mix also sounds different. I mean, if the same song is mixed by five other people, it would sound completely different.
True.
From the five versions will sound different.
Yeah,
So I think it's a matter of taste ultimately. So while selecting who we wanted to mix the song, we also looked at his work and if we liked the song, his sound,
yeah,
his individual sound or not. So
yeah.
that was also an important consideration.
And was it easy to find someone that you would be comfortable in, bringing your piece alive in a way?
Yeah. So there are so many options nowadays. Like if you go on internet, if you go on Instagram and try to find engineers, you
Yeah,
will just be overwhelmed with the number of options that you can have.
sure.
So
Yeah.
what I try to do is I don't try to look a lot. The first three people or first five people that I meet,
Hmm.
I try to select one of them. I don't go on looking because I think it just gets overwhelming when it's too many options.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't try to spend a lot of time on finding someone then.
Yeah. And so now the final few questions. Like I think the next thing is like since you guys are originally from Bangalore, so I'm assuming were you also making music back then? Were you in part of like the music scene, because Bangalore definitely has a lot going on. Uh, how was that like? Were you making music in Bangalore as well before you'll move to Europe?
Want to go?
She got noticed.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I still make music outside Asandai, and I formed a band in Bangalore, a progressive rock band in Bangalore in 2014. It's called Kumarosi, and
Nice.
it still goes on.
Yeah.
Before we started Asandai, I was quite active in the scene, in the Bangalore music scene. We
Right.
would play a lot of gigs then with Kumarosi.
Yeah.
The pandemic brought everything to halt, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was quite active in the scene while I was in Bangalore.
Very cool. What about you, Bidisha? Any prior bands or music that you were part of?
For me, I was not part of any band.
Yeah.
In my case, I have been trained in Indian classical music, Hindustani classical music
Oh,
from a very young age.
okay.
So it was in the house, it was in the family. So
Yeah.
I mean, I have grown up singing, but and I played the guitar and kind of when you maybe gone to like a week's class and then figured out that I'm not going to pick up Churaliya hit and all that. So I kind of just would perform solo, and I have performed in wherever I have gone as a solo artist.
Very
And
cool.
I didn't have any music released or anything, but wherever, whichever country I would be in or whichever place I would be moving to, I would, go and perform. And then, yeah, we met in 2017. I think we started 17 already. We were starting to, make music together, but not actively thinking that this will be a future project. Just like we like to do music together.
Sure.
And yeah, and then things rolled after that, and I'm in Asanai. So yeah, that's how it is for me.
Very cool. And if you don't mind me asking, what is it that y'all do, in in your life other than music? Do you all professionally work, or uh, I mean, just to have a reference?
Yeah. I work as a software architect. So that's my day job.
So IT, I'm guessing.
Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
in IT. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's cool.
And yeah, we kind of like we were also working in Bangalore when we were there, so we were both not full-time musicians. We
Hmm.
still not are full-time musicians,
Yeah,
but yeah, so juggling, like you were asking the question before about how to handle all the making videos and everything. This
yeah,
is something that juggling all of this together is sometimes a challenge. It's also something that we are learning, but because we are not really great at it,
yeah,
but we are learning, and there are a lot of new trends that you have to catch up with.
for sure.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so it is fun, and but it is how it is, so it's
yeah.
fun, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I think there's like there's it shows a lot in terms of what you truly are passionate to, because even though you have this other life that you have to live, you still find time to somehow make music and put music together and share it online and do all of that. So it's great. And probably one of my last questions, because of the timing of the recording. What are you guys currently listening to? And because Music Mandir also talks to a lot of independent artists, mostly from India and Southeast Asia. What are some of maybe three or four cool Indian artists, or that you guys follow or you guys really like? Uh, if you have a few, on the top of your head.
Go on.
Uh, well, at the moment, what I'm listening to is I've not really heard a lot of the recent Indian musicians,
Hmm.
the Indian artists, because I've been like very consumed with a few new artists that I have discovered, and they are mostly based in Europe.
Yeah,
Some bands that I have seen here live, so we are also discovering the independent scene here. So
yeah.
it's great to listen, and obviously, I really appreciate the music here as well.
Hmm.
So my discovery, because of the question that you asked, the current discovery, I am more I mean, I'm listening to more of Aqua. There's a band called Aqua,
Okay.
and then there is there are these big bands as well. So
Yeah,
listening to other genres of music like metal and prog. So yeah, those are the things that I am listening to as of now.
yeah.
And yeah, what about you?
Uh, I'm listening to a lot of post-rock music nowadays. Uh, but speaking of indie artists, which I really admire, I think there's a prog band from Bangalore, Space Remedy, that I have
Okay.
been
Yeah.
listening to. I also know them, and I
Okay.
like the music as well. But another band in which is closer to our sound, not so much electronic as Sendai, but closer to dream pop or indie rock. So I think Long Distances from Mumbai. I really like their music.
All right.
So
I've heard of them, but I don't remember really listening to their music. But that's awesome, because
yeah,
I like this process, because people will then mention maybe some other music
yeah,
I haven't heard, and then I'll listen to them, and then I'll figure out that they're awesome as well. So
yeah. And we both also listen to a lot of French bands, French pop bands.
yeah,
So there's a band called as Pepite.
Yeah,
Do I say it right?
yeah.
Yeah, Pepite. And we saw them last year in Germany as well. I mean, we have been listening to them since when we were in India, so it's been a
okay,
long while. But
yeah,
we got to watch them playing in a very stripped down set in a library, and at a distance, like we could go and talk to them after the show.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was really fun.
Yeah, and I think
Uh,
it's
nice.
really
Yeah.
interesting to see bands play sounds that you don't always listen to. So when they switch it up and
Yeah.
when they play
Yeah.
less electric and just acoustic, it sounds like a completely different group.
Yeah.
Awesome, very cool.
Yeah.
So I think like I'm through with most of my questions, and we have about 2 minutes. But it was really nice to kind of speak to y'all to understand the way you'll make music and the way you'll put stuff together. So thank you for taking time. That was
Well,
nice.
thank you for inviting us and discovering our music and
Yeah.
getting us on board on Music Mandir. So it is really nice.
Yeah,
We really enjoyed this interview.
Yeah.
This
thanks.
was an interview after a really long
Long
time,
time.
and we really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal for us, but I think it's just an interesting approach in general.
Mm.
I've had a few done sometime last year, and everyone comes with such a unique approach and a unique story, and it just makes
Mhm.
it fun because I don't know, I enjoy it. That's why I'm even doing it. But thanks a bunch, and hopefully we can have more music from y'all. I assume y'all will be releasing more music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a lot of plans in the future.
Great.
Yeah.
And maybe once, if y'all do come to India, then maybe we can all catch your show at live
Yeah.
when y'all perform.
Yeah.
Fingers
We'd love that.
crossed.
Yeah.
We would really love to do
Yeah.
that. We're actually looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, that's it. Time's up, and thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Chetan.
Bye.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
thanks. Not a
Bye-bye.
problem. Bye bye.